Hope it works. We'll see. You know, it's like with this stuff, it's anybody's guess. Hi, guys. I wanted to jump on and talk crime chat, okay? I want to talk about Fotis Dulos. And let me just, okay. So it's an odd time for me. I usually come on earlier or what have you, but I've just been so busy working that I haven't had a chance to jump on earlier. So I want to welcome you if you are here. And before I jump in to say hi to people, I just want to let you know we're going to talk about Fotis Dulos tonight. I have really gotten a little bit involved in this case, and I looked up some interesting information that I wanted to share with you tonight. And you know that I think it's an illness, you guys. I love talking about true crime because I really feel like there's so much that goes into people that are twisted. Okay, so before I do that, I want to just say hi. Jessica, good to see you, babe. Lonnie, is it Lonnie or Lonnie? I want to say Lonnie, but hi. Yes, I'm going to send you some stuff, girl. Thanks for your order. You're going to love what you got. Humanimal, what's going on? Evie Bubbles, good to see you. Gosh, you know, it's like getting some peeps tonight. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Susan. Hi, Carol. And Jessica, I really appreciate your being here. Thank you. Mary, Debbie. Okay. I know, you know what? I'm having like an odd hair day. So I feel like if I stand perfectly still, it'll look great. I kind of want to touch it a lot. And then some people get so crazy when I touch my hair. They go, you're touching it too much. Okay. So I take all my important notes on envelopes. So there's a couple things that I want to cover tonight. I want to talk about, yeah. I saw the search warrant was executed. So I want to see what that turns up. But I want to back up a little bit because there's a lot of the information and I want to find out more about Traconis because I feel like, you know me, I like to talk about her. I'd like to talk about her a little bit because I've got to tell you, when I saw her like dolled up and I see Jennifer dolled up, it's almost eerie. I mean, they look alike, okay? And they have, what's interesting about the two of them, and if you look at, and I'm talking about, I keep wanting to call him Fulo, you know, like fool, photo, whatever. But, okay, so when you take the picture of Fotis' wife, Jennifer, and then you take the girlfriend, Traconis, and you put them side by side, and both of them are dolled up, there is an uncanny look between them. As far as I know, he's not dead, but he's dead to me. And you know what? I'm really mad. He cost the state, now it's not my state, but do you know he must have cost them like $100,000? He had to be airlifted. Why didn't they wait 5 minutes? You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just really radical, but like, you know, this guy is not worth the money that it, I don't know. He's not worth the money that it's costing us to try to save him, but here nor there, let's get into this. Okay. So Jennifer and Traconis look very much alike. The girlfriend. Now, Traconis apparently had moved out of Fotis' house and into a home in Avon. Now, there was some rumor that they had moved out together, but here's what I want to tell you. Yeah, I want to talk about that in a second, the poor man's Jennifer. But the rumor was that they had split up. Now, I think Fotis had something on Traconis. And the reason I think that is, be honest, you guys, if you break up with a guy and you move out, why would you like risk hiding evidence? I mean, I don't know what it is with these, like, I swear it's like Stupid Girl. You know, I should just write a book called Stupid Girl and just have all the women who help these lethal pieces of, you know, commit these crimes. So I kind of have a feeling about this. And now Traconis has a daughter, teenager, and the daughter was with the father in Argentina for a while. Now, here's my feeling about Traconis. She was either in it up to here, right? She was like in it, or he has something on her, Fotis does, that he was blackmailing her to help. And the thing I want to say about that is that God, I'm like itchy tonight too. I feel like, like what's going on? And maybe I'm just nervous. Okay. So when we look at those two women, and somebody said, forgive me, it went really fast. Oh, wait, here it is. Maybe it's Humanimal, I think, said a poor man's Jennifer, that Traconis looked like that. But I have to give Traconis some props on this. I think the difference between the two women, like if you just look at face, right, energetically, Jennifer is a happy person. And happy can't stay with misery. It just doesn't work. And even if you get with somebody and you're miserable at first, and you start to get healthier, what happens is, like, what is formed in sickness doesn't always survive health. So I feel like what happened here is that, he picks that same type, but I think he was spiraling down. And I think that he picked Traconis because Jennifer in the divorce papers said it was, she called Traconis his Argentinian paramour. So I find, it kind of shows you that, like, because Traconis was cited as part of in the divorce. And I think it kind of gives you a little bit of Jennifer's sense of humor. And, oh, Keisha Flora, thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate that. And Chris Boston, good to see you. Gosh, the gang's here, man. This is cool. Yes, he is another tough guy. Oh, yeah, another tough guy. Ugh. Okay, so a couple things I want to tell you that I kind of unearthed, and you guys may know already, but I still think it's interesting. And thanks again, Keisha. I appreciate it. Norm Pettis, whatever the lawyer's name. I'll tell you something. I don't understand, and maybe it's just me, I don't understand how these, they feel like ambulance chaser attorneys, don't they? They feel like this one is like, are you freaking kidding me, Hey, Jesse, I want to say, Jesse, hi. Okay, I'm just looking real quick. Jesse, it's all makeup. Did he abuse her during the marriage? Oh, I know. Yeah, hello, he did. Of course he did. And I'm going to talk about that. All right, let me go through my list because I did make notes. Okay, the first thing is the attorney back in July. I can't believe, I kind of feel like I wish I could go like this and like just get the trial over with and put him in jail forever. And I hate to say this, but like what a mean tard he is, because he's got 5 kids and he kept saying, oh, all I care about is the kids. All I care about is the kids. So let me get this straight. You not only murder their mother, but, oh, wait a second. Now you're trying to take your own life. What a POS he is. I'm just saying. But what the lawyer did back in July, he said he likened Jennifer's, he said that Jennifer was faking her own escape, right? And he likened it to the book Gone Girl. I actually read the book. It was like one of those books that everybody was telling me to read. Let's see. Oh, he is a goofball. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to see if that's what I was thinking, Cruz Boston. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in a second. So Gillian Flynn, I want to say Gillian, but it's spelled with a G. So I guess it's Gillian. I never know if it's Gillian or Gillian, you guys. Okay. So Norm Pattis, the attorney, said that it was like the book or movie, if you will, Gone Girl. Now, in the movie, and well, I think the book was better, it always is. But in the book, it's basically this cheating husband, right? The wife goes missing and he gets accused of murdering her. And there's like blood on the floor. There's all these kinds of things that indicate that he murdered her. I don't care if you go like this, la, 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 if I'm going to ruin the story for you, just go, la, 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 But basically the plot is that she runs away and frames him for her murder. And it's kind of like this woe plot. And, I think it's pretty well done. Okay. Anyway, the point is that the lawyer said, oh, that's exactly what Jennifer did. She wrote something similar. No. And not only that, so Gillian Flynn put out a statement saying that she was horrified that he would do that. And she was, quote, deeply sorry for Jennifer and her loved ones. And, I just really don't like, as a writer, I don't like when attorneys take the information and then, just twist the whole story. So basically, and this attorney, by the way, he has flipped stories, okay, more times, I was going to make a political statement, but I can't. He has just wish-washed and flipped up the stories, and kind of like more times than you see them flip burgers, you know? I mean, seriously, like at McDonald's, okay? I mean, seriously, this was one of his theories. And now I forget his new theory, that something else that Jennifer did. And it's like, I'm sorry, guys, let me just put it this way to all of you, okay? You can't murder yourself and then hide yourself, all right? Just like, we can't do that. However, I think that Dulos may have had something. This is just kind of like a hit I got earlier, that Dulos, and I'm saying creepy Dulos, he had something on Traconis. And that's the only reason I think she would, in a sense, help him if she did. The other thought is she was in it up to her eyeballs all along. She sent her kid to Argentina to the ex-husband, and she did it. Now, the thing about it is, and I don't know what it is, but that girlfriend is so, I don't know, there's something about her that's very creepy to me, and I can't quite put my, my fingers on it. Oh yeah. Oh no, Cruz Boston, he doesn't have a new girlfriend. He had this girlfriend while he was married, okay? Let's just get this like little conversation going. And it's funny, people are talking about weather, like it's snowing in Colorado and it's like a heat wave in, where are you, girl? Where are you? I forget. I forget where she said she was. Okay, how a woman trusts a man that does things to another woman. Okay, this is where women shut down and go, I'm so special, he'll never do that to me. Hold on, buzzer. Like, where's the dummy buzzer? Dummy. No, he's going to do it to you. And you know why he's going to do it to you? Because he has a pattern of doing it. And I hate to say this to all of you, okay? Men, unlike women, no offense to the guys out there, any guys on here, but men are creatures of habit. So, when you go out on a date, okay, if you go out on a date with a man, and forgive me, because I always get somebody who goes, you hate LGBTQ because you only talk about men and women. I'm like, no, not really. It's like if I was talking about a gay couple, I'd talk about gay couples, but that's not what this is. So anyway, the end of the day, if you go out on a date, if a woman goes out on a date with a man and she's like, oh, this is a nice place. And he just casually like, yeah, I used to come here all the time. My ex and I came here. She's like, what the hell? You don't even think enough of me to take me somewhere else? No, men are creatures of habit. What works once, they think will work again and again and again. And even I've seen this with my gay friends where two guys will go and they're like, yeah, he took me to the place, he took his ex. And the other guy's like, well, they liked it. It's like, he liked it, so why wouldn't you? I like it. And so this is the denseness of it. You must understand that if a man starts out by complaining about his ex-wife, I remember I went on a blind date this number of years ago, and the guy just sat there and talked about like, yeah, she's this, she's that, she's this. And I went, why don't we just call her up and bring her over? And that way I can hear her side too. And he was like, what? I just went, I don't want to hear about this. And I feel like this is how you're going to talk about me. And he was like, oh. I said, so can we just eat dinner and talk about weather and then we can go? And I was like, never seen that guy again. Because it's kind of like, we can say, oh, he's not over that person. But at the end of the day, people have patterns and habits. And you know what? I'm going to be really upfront with all of you. People will show you who they are in the first 10 minutes with them. They will, if you listen. But sometimes, and I know this has been true for me, sometimes we're like, like whatever that moment is. And we go, never do that to me. Yeah, he's going to do it to you. Okay. It's like, and I'm going to tell you something. If he doesn't do it to you, he's going to suck you into his problem. Now that brings us back to Traconis. So she is Argentinian. He's Greek. Okay. And here's the thing I want to say is like, I really believe that, on some level, some people don't think that there's anything wrong with certain things. Well, I'm going to get rid of this stuff. I really have a hard time thinking that Traconis really didn't know anything. I'm sorry. I just, I know some people have said that to me, but it's like, yes. Oh, hey, Black Rose. Tina, good to see you. I'm just saying hi to some people. Don't have a cow. Black Rose is going to have surgery. Please send her some prayers and some love. Oh, I know. Listen, he's had this girlfriend. I want to say this, Debbie. He had this girlfriend from before because she was cited in the divorce. Rudy, what's up? So, okay, so let's go on because I have a bunch of stuff and I don't want to do a really late one. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. So one of the things that happened in the taping of this, we just found out yesterday that leaning off here, we found out that that Dulos, his bail was about to be revoked. We think because it was an emergency hearing. He put up $6 million for bail money. Problem is, there wasn't substantial collateral for the money. So there was a suspicion, the attorney got wind of this, that there was going to be a recall. They were going to call him back and revoke his bail. So that's when he probably jumped in his car and did the suicide thing with monoxide, carbon monoxide. But here's the thing that and the only reason, I wrote this down. The only reason that the only reason that they went to find him is because he didn't show up for the bail hearing. That was the urgent bail hearing that he was supposed to be at. When he didn't show up, the police went to his house, found the engine running, and that's how they found him in the in the garage in his car. But I want to talk about the crime itself, and I want to talk about that just a little bit. And let me see. Okay, Rudy, what's wrong? What happened, Rudy? I'm having my gallbladder removed on Friday. You didn't need it. It's all going to go fine. You're going to be fine. Just don't run around too early. Okay. So let's look at this. Oh, somebody said there was a lot of questions that I looked at online, and somebody said, did he actually fight with his wife? Did he attack her? Yes. And not only did he attack her, prior, there was a witness, the babysitter actually witnessed him running through the house. He was like trying to, beat her, and she ran into her room and locked the door. When he discovered that one of the children and the babysitter was in the room with her, he backed off. They were like, please go away. He backed off and he left. Now, here's the thing I want to say about Fotis is that I can tell by looking at the guy. He has written all over him, coward and liar. First of all, the other thing is that when they did an initial search in the house after Jennifer was missing, I think it was not the coroner, forgive me. It was the crime scene. The crime lab people, basically. There was so much blood in the house. They said there's no way anybody could have survived all this blood. When they found the blood that wasn't cleaned up and the clothes with the soaked blood, there was so much blood. It's like, and it was her blood. Okay. And then, and this I found very interesting because something said to me, like I was kind of going, I wonder what this means. Okay. There was something about his name that was kind of resonating with me. So I actually looked up his name and, the etymology, and I wanted to see what his name means because it just seemed like such an odd, obviously it's a Greek name. So whatever, I don't know the heritage, the lineage as much as I'll know American names or names here and the heritage or the lineage. But he had, so Fotis in and of itself means photo or photograph. What I find very interesting about that is as you dig down, and I like to say drill down a little bit, when you drill under that, it also, in the Greek form too, the meaning of it is the word snap, as in take the photo. I thought it was so interesting that is the etymology of his name, when in fact, I think the guy just snapped. I think that he is so greedy and here's the thing about somebody like this. And I'm seeing, I don't know about you, but I am seeing so many crimes like this and other crimes I'm going to be covering about like, the old, what were they thinking? Like what you can't even, in the old days, you would look at somebody and go, oh yeah, he shot him because he was with that one's wife. Okay. You can see that. But now it's kind of like these crazy motives of like stuff going on in people's heads. I don't know. Like you could see patterns in the past. Okay. And yes, Fotis also means light, but it means light in a different language. I was looking it up in Latin. Oh, wait, is it light? Is it in Latin? So it does mean light, but it also means photo or snap. And the reason is because I looked it up in different languages. And I sometimes do that, especially I look up the Latin, because often the Latin is the root of everything. So if you look at light as a meaning, it also is shedding light on something. And then a photo is like that snapshot in time. You cannot take away that picture. You can burn the picture, you can destroy the picture, you can make the picture disappear, but the photo will never go away. And that's the thing that's like, it's like astrology. It's a snap in time. It's there. And I found it very interesting that that snap is part of that energy. I can't, it's hard to explain it, but I think it's very, very interesting. It's interesting, Despina, because I agree with you. There's some interesting, and I'm glad she put it up. She said it means the enlightened one. And I find that very interesting because sometimes, especially in the work I do, when I do, readings, or I do like looking at things, I often say to people, what opposes exposes. So when you look at the idea of Fotis meaning enlightened one, you can also look at what opposes it is the dark one. And when there is a dark one, the light will expose it. And so I think it's really important to get that there's a polarity in this man. There is I wrote down the amount of money. Hold on. There is, check this out, $3 million in unpaid loans to Jennifer's mother that Fotis owes. I thought that was interesting. Let's see. And, when they interviewed him on Good Morning America, and I think it was that, forgive me if it was the Today Show, but they all start to meld together and look alike to me. But it was one of those morning shows, and it was like they took a picture of him from the side, and then they kind of cut around to the front. And when you're looking at it, you look at it and you go, oh, that's creepy. And then they get to him, and I think the guy said to him, did you kill your wife? And he says, I did not. But I'd like to leave it at that. Isn't that odd? I mean, I don't know about you, but did you kill your best friend? I did not, but I'd like to leave it at that. Well, what do you mean you'd like to leave it at that? I mean, I understand if you say, on the advice of my attorney, I'm not saying anything, it's like, let's see what I heard now. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. You know what? I haven't seen her in a while, but Glam Dolly, you cracked me up. Did he die yet? Well, not yet, girl. That's why we're still talking about it. Tina, we know he wants control. Okay. So if you would, guys, I didn't even think about it, but if you're here, could you give it a thumbs up or, give me a like? Cause it does help with the ratings of the YouTube thing. All right. A couple other things I'm going to say. This is interesting. So he actually, now look, this is a guy that has supposedly millions. Well, he borrowed a truck that one of his employees drives. I'm sorry, a red truck. Now, I'm sorry, but wouldn't you want to grab a little gray beater that just kind of doesn't look like anything? Wouldn't you want an old car? No, not this guy. He grabs a red truck. And you see, the funny thing Fotis did, what is so funny about a red truck? They stand out, fool. They stand out. People remember red trucks. I mean, think about it, don't you? I don't know, if I see cars in my neighborhood and I see a gray truck or gray car, I kind of go, But when I see something that's a color, like a red, I remember it. Hello, somebody remembered it. So that red truck, now this is where I think it gets dicey. Supposedly, he killed Jennifer in the house, put her in the SUV that is her car, drives away. Now, they have on surveillance that they saw him, they think, in the car. Then he drives to where the red truck is, and her car somehow stays there, but the blood stains are found in the red truck. Now, here's, again, part of this, that this is where I have I've got to look into this more because there are kind of holes in the story, so to speak. What they said in this one article I was reading, that, and the guy's name, can I just tell you something? Why don't criminals have names like Smith? I can't, like, I don't, because could you please make it easier for me? Just have a name like Smith. And I could go, Mr. Smith said, okay. So this guy's name is Gamini. I'm going to start there. So this guy, Fotis took the red truck to him and said, please replace the front seats in this truck. And, you know, he would just like lie. I spilled coffee. So the guy who replaced the seats, and he did put new seats in, he took the seats and Fotis said, just throw them out, get rid of them. Well, that guy, Gamini, kept the seats. So when the police came knocking, Gamini said, oh yeah, I got these seats, here they are. He turned them over and the one seat had Jennifer's blood in it. Now, I don't know about you, but like what part of this is not felony dumb to you? Like, I can't figure this out, okay? But then again, I can figure it out. The other thing, and I'm going to share that in a second, Jennifer said, there was a quote I have from her where she said, he gave me a rag that was dirty. And he said, oh, I spilled coffee all over myself or something, you know, in the car. And she said she smelled it and it didn't smell like coffee. I don't know about you guys. Like, wouldn't you immediately, I know she's dumb as dirt, right? Wouldn't you immediately, like, I don't know about you. I don't care who that person is. I'm going to the police. Because you see, if I smell blood and your ex-wife is missing, then I might be next. Just saying. But no, Miss Smarty Pants goes ahead and helps him, supposedly. Now, as I mentioned, I think Traconis is in on this. I really don't think that, you know, and I want to look at this in a second, but I think that it's, you know what, too, and I want to say this, Susanna, I mean, I know that like people say narcissist, and you guys have heard me say this before. You know, we talk about narcissist and all that, but I kind of look at it as, it's almost like once I say that this person is a narcissist, I don't go any deeper. That's just me. I stop there. Oh, it's a narcissist for you, and move on. Sometimes it's helpful if you're in a bad relationship to look it up and see what it is. But something that really hits me here is that, you know, I get that narcissist, he did this, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, not all criminals are narcissists and not all narcissists are criminals. I think the ones that are the most fascinating to us are the felony dumbs. They just do a felony and they're completely dumb. Like, it's almost like, how could you be that stupid? Like, it's just, anyway, the thing that really rocks me, and this is something I want to say that is so sad, is that incredible, and you can call it narcissism, but that incredibly hateful thing that he did to his children. You know, it's like, we can look at this particular crime and go, and we can look at another crime and go, that SOB killed his children. But this guy, there's also that other side of like, he left his children alive without a mother, without a father. It's kind of like, you know, I think that, you know, I think that's the point, is that, let's see. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at some, it's very funny. You guys are funny. Okay. So, I mean, does anybody really care? And bear with my little Gamini. Thank you, Tina. Does anybody really care what happens to Fotis Dulos? I mean, really, do you care? I mean, nobody's late. You're here on time. We're just, okay. I'm surprised Fotis isn't in Mexico. He hasn't tried getting a fake passport yet. I'm sure the courts took his real one. Oh, I mean, I'm going to tell you something. I think right now, I mean, he's in the hospital. This guy is probably fried his own brain, because to be that incapacitated and to be put in I think it's a bariatric chamber they put him in, but anybody who's a nurse knows that's serious stuff. If you have to put somebody in a chamber, the chances of them regaining any brain cells, and boy, you know, sometimes I feel like justice is like if he was trapped in there and he knew what happened and he couldn't ever get out. Like, that is just like such divine justice. But to really be that hateful, to murder someone that you have 5 children with, but I think it really has to do with the money. And I really believe that he killed her He killed her because he owed the mother $3 million, and he couldn't stand that she was fine without him. You know, and it goes to that drain of narcissism, but I think it's really, I'm going to say it's a really big flip of someone who is so immature. And I think I shared this with you guys like in another video, but it's just about that idea of like, and my dad used to say this all the time. He'd go, you know, it's that Shakespeare quote, Cricket. He called me Cricket. That's my nickname. He'd say, you know, it's like the coward dies 1,000 deaths, the valiant die but once. And I really think Fotis is like he was dying in each step of it. And you can even look at that terrible rat. The hell's his name now? I'm so glad I can't remember his name. He's the one that Weinstein, that POS. And the thing about it is that notice how they, and my uncle used to say all the time, he was very like flamboyant, you know, and he was a dancer on Broadway. And he used to say all the time that the good, wait, what is it? The false, the bad, and the ugly go downward and inward. The good, the true, and the beautiful go upward and outward. And I think that when you look at people who really are wonderful people, you can see the grace in them. And listen, we all have issues and stuff, and people don't like you for whatever reason. But when you really see someone who does that level of evil, you kind of get what the false, you know, his fake. I mean, I think the hard thing for me is like, why did Jennifer marry this creepy creep? You know, it's like, and it goes back to, I think Cruz Boston said it on the feed. It's like, what is up with these women that marry these men? And I think what happens is we buy into the story. You know, I think that there's a story, and when we hear the right story, it's kind of like Once Upon a Time, and you go, yes, and you listen to the story. And I mean, they had 5 children. You know, this is not like, I mean, she was a good mom. It's like, this just gets me. And so I'm looking at this as and what is unsettled for me is I want to know the background of Traconis. And I want to really find out, like my interest is in her part in it. And the reason I say that is because, you know, I don't know what it is, you guys, about dumb women lately. And you can like say yay or nay on this. I want to hear what you have to say. But isn't it like, what is it about, hi, you want to date me? I've got to just kill this girl. But once we're done with that, you'll be with me forever. No. Like, I don't think there's, hey, I have a great idea. Okay, so Jesse, I've got this great idea. Why don't you and I just hang out? We'll be best friends. I'll be your best friend forever. I'll support you. You won't ever have to think again. All we have to do is kill my ex because he's got money. What? It's like, where did somebody get to think that's a good idea? I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from the idea, from that core idea of that nobody cares about you and you can do anything and nobody's going to notice. See, there's a double side to this, okay? If you think about it this way, and I work with people and clients, and, you know, I work with clients on both sides of the fence in that sense. And one of the things I've noticed is that when people have what we call low self-esteem, right, it really comes down to they were ignored. They weren't paid attention to. Their ideas weren't validated, right? So a lot of times when someone is like teased or beaten or bullied, or they're mercilessly treated, like meanly, by particularly family of origin, and when what has happened to them has been belittled, right? What I see is that, and energetically, you know, you can work with somebody as an adult. And I've seen this because I work with people like this too, is like, you can help them see the reality, right? However, as I just said, there's really those two sides to all of us, right? There's the good, the what is it? The good, the true, and the beautiful go upward and outward. So there really is that part of us, and there's the bad, the false, and the ugly that goes downward and inward. And I think if we look at those two parts of us, when you feel irrelevant in your life, you don't think you're going to get caught. See, this is something else. It's like when you don't think people notice you or care about you or think you exist, or really all your thoughts are unimportant, you think you can do anything and get away with it. So there is that side of that psyche. So if we really look at that, we have to look at it as both sides of this thing. And I think that, we really, I want to say in the 80s, we did so much self-help. Remember that time, for those of you that were alive back then? I remember, because I was young, and I remember back then thinking, doing John Bradshaw work. And Bradshaw, by the way, is one of the founders of like a lot of the looking closely at, I want to say, the movement of Pia Melody and all of those people, but looking closely at children of alcoholics and families of alcoholics. And I also think grandchildren of alcoholics. So there's a whole thing there. So when you look at that dynamic and you look at these people that are emerging, and I'm talking about these, when I said this about another criminal, when I said this is a new set of murderers, we have to also look at not just labeling them narcissists, but we have to look at the abuse they've been through. And when you look, and you guys know this, like, just think about this. Am I right about this? When you look at somebody that has like nothing going on inside, there's just a blankness. And they almost have a look of an idiot savant. There's nothing there, and there's really nothing going on. And there's just this emptiness. And after people do these crimes, and that's why I said about this other guy, I said, the scary thing is he is like, it looks like he feels better after doing it. You know what I mean? The thing about this guy Dulos is that I really believe, his own mother was run over by a car, by a nanny who accidentally ran over his mother in the driveway. And you don't hear him say anything about that. It's kind of, there's just a lot of odd stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I think that Nine Angels just said they were a nice looking couple. I think they were a nice looking couple, but you know what? You can look at people and you can go, it's so funny. It's like, I will tell you that I have some very good friends. And one of my good girlfriends is like, every time she meets somebody and I just listen, she knows she's in trouble, because I'll just go, She's like, but she's caught on now. And luckily she's dating someone that's a good guy. But what is the difference? What is the difference between a good guy and a bad guy? Let's open that conversation. And what? Wait, who died? Let me just get this too. Hold on one second. Red Like Wine asked that. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I believe pride and shame are common facts. I agree. But here's the thing that's happening. If you look at this, these family annihilators are not your average family annihilator anymore. They're not what we saw years ago. Because here's the thing, if we go back to some of these guys from years ago and we look at how stoic they were, it was because the abuse they faced, it was a different time. Nobody listened to you, and it was kind of like, why bother telling anybody? Now, if you speak up and you get ignored, it's a different, I want to say it's a different type of pattern that happens, because it's not like the old days where you go, oh, this happened, oh, suck it up. Like, oh, okay. People would ignore you, or, somebody would just get over it, Well, I do say suck it up to some of my friends, but I wouldn't say it to you guys. I wouldn't say it to clients. But I think the thing is that when we look at Dulos, I really feel, and especially the idea of him now attempting suicide, it's like, not only do we know he's a coward, but again, there is that pathos, that deep sadness that he is just off his gourd. Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at some of this stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch of things I want to look at. Yeah, Jesse just said, I found it strange that the nanny ran over Fotis' mother. Yeah, here's the thing. And this is the most interesting thing of all. One of the most powerful imprints is, I think, is the deprivation of love. and I think there are other, deprivation is a very powerful influencer, is what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say about that is when a child or someone growing up is deprived of love, they have an uncanny ability to know how to trick others and solicit it from them. Look at Manson. You know, he grew up with watching his mother do tricks. I mean, his mother was a prostitute. There were so many things that he watched from the time he was 2 or 3 growing up that he knew how to seduce and get love from people who were wounded similarly to him, but not so bad that they didn't have enough capacity to be attracted to it. Like, he was just more attracted to the seduction of it. So what's happening is, and I think that what we're looking at here is that idea of, you know, those seducers knowing how to get that love. Now, do I think Fotis is one of those people? I think he is a felony dumb. I actually think he is just a power tripping, just maniacally crazy guy. And I do think, you know, we can, like, it's kind of like when you go, oh, my friend, she's just Italian, that's why she throws things across the room. No, like, she's just angry, you know, like, and I think this is the thing, is that I think we excuse things that people do because they have a way of going, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I'm so sorry. And I didn't mean to do, or what, you know, that apology thing is so seductive. So, yeah, okay. Let's see. Tina, that's like, oh, wow. Tina's like, whoa, right in there. You can write this stuff. She said, I wonder if he had a lot of life insurance on his mother. See, now, yeah, thanks, Black Rose. Yeah. Okay. So a couple things I want to say about divorce, because anybody who's been there, and I'm just going to say hypothetically, if I knew somebody, well, maybe close to me, who perhaps did marry a crazy person and he did stalk her, and if she finally got rid of him, I can understand, because it took that person, the friend, a year to get out of that. I can really understand that the getting away from crazy time is the most dangerous, because that's when the escalation happens. And so I have a very good friend who is going through the circumstance. I don't want to say who, but, you know, she's probably going to call me and go, you talking about me? No, okay, she won't. But she's going through a situation where I was worried. And she moved up into this really cute house, and she's a little bit out of the way. And, you know, the ex-boyfriend, he's not playing with that full deck, all right? What I'm trying to say is the elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. And what I think that he could be violent. I mean, and I said that to her. I said, listen, please don't be stupid. She said, well, he just came over like last week or week or two, and we just sat outside. I said, don't invite him over. Don't let him on the property again. Don't. And, you know, she kind of said to me the other day, it was like, she went, you know, I'm not going to do that again. She said, there's something about, I said, just don't. And I said, the best thing that can happen is that he just moves on. Well, he hasn't, but he found a new girlfriend. And she's so excited. But here's the thing. This guy with a new girlfriend, I always say, let him be someone else's problem. But, you know, we both know the woman he is involved with. And she is this girl. Okay. When he got with my friend was very down on herself. She was having a hard time in her life. She was like, I think that, you know, she was just, she couldn't get herself together. And he saved her. He came in, helped her, talked her through stuff. They were best friends, and they fell into a relationship. Well, she got herself together. And like I said, you know, relationships formed through sickness, they don't always survive health. And she got healthier, and it just didn't work anymore. And I'm going to tell you, Part of the reason sometimes when I see people who've gotten over things or they get healthier, it's because it doesn't match anymore and you need to move on. Anybody who looks at a picture of Jennifer, and Jennifer Dulos, the victim, and I want to say the 6 victims because the children, anybody who can look at that can recognize that she was over it. She just wasn't going to put up with it. And the issue is that I didn't see her fly into a rage. Do you know what I mean? I didn't see her like, in other words, energetically. I can see somebody getting pissed and going, get the hell out, but I didn't see energetically her doing anything but just, I don't want to be with you. You can leave now, and him just creating one drama after another. You can look at that guy. He looks like a tiny drama king, okay? And he does look like that, right? He's like this thing. He's like this tiny guy. And, she was this tall, cool drink, she was like really just this stunning, together, interesting, you could tell. And how did she fall into that? Well, listen, everybody can be taken at the beginning. But after a while, if you start to get healthier, it no longer fits. And going back to my friend, the ex-boyfriend is now with another woman who, I've got to tell you, she and I both know this woman, and it's like, the woman is mean, she's angry, she's messed up like you can't believe. She's been through a really hard time, and I feel for her, I really do, in that sense. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, another one to rescue. So this is what happens, is that these guys follow patterns. However, if you look at Fotis, let's go back to him for a second. Look at how bright a light Jennifer is and was. And look at this Traconis woman, Michelle, I think her name is. Look at how like dark she is. There's a dark vibration from her. And you know what? I don't know about you, but have you ever walked down the street and be honest, It has nothing to do with anything but vibes, right? I don't know about you, but I walk down the street and I've seen like someone on the street and I'm like, I don't want to be in the same side of the street with that person. I just cross the street and move away. And it's not because of anything other than a vibe. That's the point. It's not, we can pick things up, but do we follow them? And I think that's kind of the thing. Okay, Susanna, yes, they said the mother was picking up the children's toys in the driveway. Exactly. And I think that's the key. Yeah, I have to tell you, a woman like that, here's why he didn't divorce her, okay? I want you to really think about this energetically. This is a guy who probably didn't have 6 million. And he probably, and I'm just going to guess that this is going to come out, he was probably hocked up to his eye teeth. What do you think would happen with those very wealthy clients who are giving him money? It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. They give him money and he just keeps giving it away. You know what I mean? He's not really rich. It's like a rich client giving you all that money. You're going to go, oh, and you're going to be able to say, I can pay this off. I can pay this. I can pay this. We know he didn't want to pay child support. Duh. But here's what would happen if he had no money, like if he was broke. Now, you can all say, oh, but she would have gotten in the divorce, blah, blah, blah. But this is the kind of guy that is really, I want to say everything's hanging on his reputation. He's got nothing but his word and his reputation. I want you to think about that because I'm going to tell you something. Long Island, small community, okay? Connecticut, it's not a big state, but people working at that high-end level of building, if they got a sniff that he was in trouble, his business would slide right off the side of the earth. And I guarantee that's what was starting. So he had to put an end to it because you see, if Jennifer had somehow revealed that he had nothing and he owed his mother-in-law $3 million, of course he has nothing left to live for. He didn't think that he would get caught. He didn't think that his crap would be exposed. And I really want to find out more about Traconis. So I am going to talk more about that. I want to hear what you have to say about this. I think it's very interesting. Her body hasn't been found yet. I think that it's funny. Tina just said the girlfriend looks skanky. And I think that it's interesting because there is an energy from her. And I know we can say, oh yeah, she looks skanky, blah, blah, blah. But here's another thing. We can look at when she is, made up and Jennifer's made up, they both look pretty, right? They're both attractive women. But you're right about something. And I think that sometimes we write it off to like, oh, that's just a skanky person. But there is a deep vulnerability that is being hidden by the hardness of Traconis. There is probably the vulnerable woman who just doesn't know how to behave, So when I say this to you, I think you're really looking at, when you look at someone who you say is skanky, think about this. He had to go deeper and deeper down into the hole. Look at it this way. I mean, he had this like fabulous woman, but you know what? No loser can keep, no one with no self-esteem too, can have someone good in their life. It just doesn't work. And I think, when you look at someone who outgrows someone, and I don't know if any of you've been through that, where you, and getting away from a bad relationship, if you're in one, it's like kind of textbook. You guys know this already because you follow true crime, but it's really like, that's the most dangerous time. And that's the time when what happened to my friend, not me, what happened to my friend was that she was smart. She recognized that she just had to agree to everything this person said on the phone to her, because eventually that was the only way she was going to survive it. And so sometimes, you may hear conversations, or you may hear, you may look at stuff that goes, gee, they were just having a nice conversation. Look at that. Well, it was all a game, because the woman had to play the game to get out. So that's why on some level, I wonder if Traconis is going to flip if he dies. I wonder if and I also wonder if she might, I don't know if she knows where the body is. I think she has a suspicion. And I had said before, if we haven't seen any fires at any of his building locations, then, this is a guy that knows how to put somebody in a wood chipper. I'm just going to say, let's see, Joseph. Oh, Joseph, hi. He's told me so many times that so many of the murders he investigated would never have happened if the victim trusted their intuition from the beginning. Yes, Joseph, I'm going to read what Joseph just said. My dad was an NYC homicide detective for 30 years. That's badass, okay? He's told me many times that so many of the murders he investigated would never have happened if the victim trusted their intuition from the beginning. Traconis is Greek. Okay, here's what I want to say. You are so right on, Joseph. And this is the thing. This is really, when we talk on my channel, we talk with each other, we interact. This is really the importance here, is that my work, my life's work is about your intuition. It's about you having your answers. I had somebody who got on like one of my feeds or something, and not here, but like a comment later. And I think I've shared this, but she said, oh, I really like what you have to say, but I'm not going to follow it because you said something about cards. And here's the thing. I don't practice occult, but what I do practice is in occult, by the way, is like voodoo and all that. I don't know about it. I respect it, but I don't do it. So it's not my area. Like, my thing is, I work with intuition. And I'm glad you said that, Joseph, because I think it's so important that what the focus here is intuitively, at what point did Jennifer know she was in trouble? See, I think she knew. In fact, she had restraining orders. And I'm going to tell you something else. And Joseph, I'm curious to hear what some of you have to say as well. And Joseph, I remember my friend's attorney saying, you need a restraining order. And I remember my friend saying, I'm not getting one. Because you see, when you know the psycho you're dealing with, you're smart enough to not to buy into that, because here's the problem. Sometimes the restraining order is like lighting, like throwing a match on gasoline, because you have now humiliated them even more. So think about that. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be safe. I'm just saying, and I remember my friend saying to the lawyer, No, because this is an evil M whatever, and he is just going to drive his truck right onto my lawn through my front window. So I'm not going to do that, because you see, his thing would be, oh, I made a wrong turn. And by the way, those guys get away with it because they're so psycho, they can talk their way out of anything. So, but when we look at this guy and this situation, I really feel that the girlfriend was pivotal, and I want to find out more about her. I also want to, and I'm really curious, I want to look at their charts. I want to look astrologically at the charts, because I'm getting more and more interested in that. And I've been studying, you guys, I'm studying astrocartography. And in English, it's more than that. It's location astrology and how your life can cross in a completely different direction. And have you ever felt, okay, this is a good example. Have you ever gone somewhere and gone, I don't feel safe here? Like, and I think I shared with you guys a while ago, I felt that way in Sacramento. Like, I don't know why. Sacramento, what, who cares? It's not a bad town. I just did. Well, sometimes I wonder if we kind of know we are unsafe in a particular situation. Well, what I want to say to you is people are like that too. You know, you feel it if it's unsafe. You get a sense of it. And then what happens is we talk ourselves out of it. So I just want to say that if I can say anything to you tonight, trust your gut. You know, if you feel unsafe, go sleep on a friend's couch. There is, you know, something, there is nothing in the world worth spending a night in a house because I don't have the money. Get a freaking credit card. Go sleep in your car. Get out. And I'm just saying this to you because if you're here and you know somebody in that situation, offer that olive branch. Say, hey, come to my house for the night, and just say we're going to have a girls' night or whatever. You know, I just feel like getting somebody away from a dangerous person, because the more time that the space you get, the better. But on the other hand, I mean, we can look at other crimes where, you know, that wasn't necessarily, but I just feel like, I just want to look at this. Let's see. Manipulation and conjuring. What's that about? Let's see. Small town mom. What did you say about manipulation and conjuring? Because I want to find the best people and be smart. And Black Rose, you're so cute. What's a DV victim? I'm sorry. Oh, domestic violence. Sorry, it took me a minute. Minnie said the OP is just a piece of paper and won't stop a bullet. Thank you. You know, the order of protection, all right, when I talked about that, you know, you have to be smart, okay? I get that you can put that out there, but you know what? At the end of the day, it really, think about it, how many of these guys have been arrested, right, because of the order of protection? They get hauled off to jail, and they're released 7 days later. They don't let you know, and that person is killed. And hello, at that point, you've ruined their reputation in their mind. See, that's the big thing, is that when someone is so attached to how people see them, and you can look at crimes one after another, how they're perceived. Now, check this out. The thing is that madness, okay, madness, when we look at a Ted Bundy, or we look at a Dahmer, or we look at, I want to say, God, now my brain went blank, but you look at these guys like the madness, Charlie Manson. When you look at madness, one of the things you're going to notice is those people who have the madness, their reputation, they think is fantastic. Think about that. They think their reputation is fantastic. They have no clue that other people are looking at them, are terrified and scared. They're thrilled. They're like, yeah, I did this to her, and I did that, I did this. And you're like, what? That's madness, right? But these guys, you know, once you put a restraining order on them, or an order of protection, they're coming for you. And you have to really, I'm not saying don't ever do that. Please don't misread what I'm saying. I'm just saying you have to use your intuition, going back to that conversation of really working with and trusting your intuition, because that's why people, you know, that's why people do get killed, is they don't trust what they know to be true. I want to see Joseph, more than a few of his cases dealt with crimes that took place in public elevators. Thank you. Most victims said they felt they shouldn't have gotten on the elevator. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've said, I'll wait for the next one. I'll wait for the next one. I'm not in any hurry, you know? And I've had a couple guys go, well, you might wait a while. That's all right. You go on. I got to think about myself for a minute. Usually that's what I say. No, I'm thinking about myself for a minute. You go on. And I don't say it like that. They kind of go, aren't you coming? I'll hold the door. You know, I'm like, I want to stand here and think about myself for a minute, but thank you. And they're like, okay, she's crazy. See? And if you're crazy, they don't want to be with you because they think you're crazy. They're the same one, see, in their mind. Okay, Black Rose, if I don't get another chance. Oh, yeah, Black Rose, we all want to send you lots of love, and thank you for being here. Nikki, you are just so bad. The joys of single life. Let's see. If I got out, but I let him think it was his idea, like he won. That's it, Casey. Casey just said it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Casey, ding, 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 ding. You said the line of the night. Basically, she said, I got out, but I let him think it was his idea and he won. See, the hardest thing for anyone who's maybe like strong, like me maybe, is to really just kind of go, you know what, you're absolutely right. I made some big mistakes, but I really agree with you. What? And you agree with me? Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, I was really bad for you, and I did some really bad things, and I really support you in, you know, leaving and making the choice that you needed to make. And I think you're just stronger for it. I mean, the stuff I said, I would never believe, but you know, here's the thing. My dad used to say, and this is going to sound really bad, but I'm working on a book in World War II, but my dad used to say in the war, and he was, I think you guys have heard me, 82nd Airborne, jumped on D-Day. You know, shoot, guys, where is it? I have oh man, it's around here somewhere. I just got this book. I'm not kidding you. My dad's picture is in it. And I was like, he is a badass. Like, I was like, what? Because I was like looking at it, you know, and I'll tell you what he used to say, but hold on. I couldn't believe, I'm like looking at it, it says, oh, Tori Hartman, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Papa? I used to call my dad Papa. Yeah, I'm working on a book about this time period. And I was like, you know, just flipping through. What's really interesting is in this book, my dad used to talk about this O.B. Hill. He would talk about different guys. And I was like, oh yeah, that guy. And I'm like looking and I'm going, wait, O.B., my dad talked about him. So it was really fun and interesting to find some pictures of the 82nd, because my dad was 82nd Airborne, 508 Company D. And he was a good guy. I had a good dad. I was really lucky, you know, and that's the thing. It's like my dad, you guys are going to laugh. My dad never hit me. And I'm going to tell you why. I was about 10. Oh, here's the picture. Okay. I was about 10 and my father ran, like he was mad at me. I'm going to hit you. And you know how they count, you know what I mean? 1, 2, you know, you better come here. Yeah, I'm going to come over there so you can hit me. What do you think? I'm stupid? That's what I'm yelling out of my door. Oh, you think I'm going to come? No way. You're going to hit me. And he's like, if you don't hit me, I'm coming in. I'm like, all right. So he storms in my room and he's like, I go, you know what? You better think twice. And he went, what? And I was like 9 or 10. And I go, because if you hit me right now, do you know what's going to happen? And he went, because I made him think, and I go, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to find men when I grow up that will hit me and beat me. And I'm going to be tossed aside and probably found on the side of some road because of this moment in your life when you chose to hit me. So go ahead. Start my ruination. I was like he was like, and he walked out the door. Later, he said to me, I didn't know what to say. He said, because he said in that minute that you made me think about how I was going to ruin your life because I didn't remember saying this part, but he's like, you said that that's going to make it okay for everybody else to hit me. And he was like, then he said, and he never raised a hand to me after that. No reason. He said, I want to kick your ass from here to Cleveland, but I'm not doing it. He said, because I'm going to let you ruin your own life. And I was like, that's how you should be. Leave me to do it myself. Okay, so here's the picture. It's in this book. It's U.S. Paratroopers, U.S. Paratrooper. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll hold it up really super close. There's my dad. And it's basically talks about him right here. And that's Papa. That's my dad. And he was a serious badass. Now he has a little thing on the side there on his cap. It was taken on the 30th of November, 44. So they had already jumped on D-Day. This was the big, this was the big one. Yeah, I know, right? I read like wine. I was so incorrigible. I was like impossible. I know, I kind of do. And it was so funny because, it's funny. Here's another picture of him. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, look at Papa in a uniform. That's my dad in the middle. And look at that badass kind of like expression, and I don't know if you could see the guy in the back he's in the tent there. Very interesting caption here, you guys. It says, Tech Sergeant 4 Gilbert and Tech Sergeant 4 Alec Hartman. I would love to know more about the Tech Sergeant. I don't know enough, and I'm gonna actually try to find out more about it. I would love it. You know where I really want to go? I want to go to Fort Bragg, and I really want to not just do the tour. I'd love to talk to some of the guys who are older, who like knew when they were younger, some of the guys that had gone. And then the first 3 survived. This is interesting. Okay, so it says the first 3 survived the Normandy campaign, but the guy in the back didn't. So, yeah, my dad was like, he was funny though, man. He was like, I tell you what, there was more than once we'd be flying together. Cause sometimes he lived in New York and I lived in LA for a long time. And sometimes we would both fly to Dallas and meet there and then fly like to Pittsburgh or something. Cause that was kind of like the halfway point. We were so loud on planes. Like we would be laughing and talking about stuff so loud. They would come over and go, do you mind? Like, could you be quiet? My dad was like, yeah, we'd be like laughing. He was a great guy. I was very lucky. And I think, something, I remember that though, like saying to him, if you hit me, I'm going to be beaten for the rest of my life by men. And he said later, and I didn't remember anyway, he said, you stood there with both fists on your hips and you looked at me and said, go for it. And he just like went, turned around, walked out. And he said, you had me. And he said, and he often said, I faced Germans shooting at me. But when you said that to me, that scared me more than anything else. Because it's like, oh, So anyway, the point I'm making is that, what do we need to do? Who do we need to make important in our history? Who do we need to know gave us our strength? And, my dad and I gave each other strength. And I think that was a real blessing of that friendship. My dad said to me once, look, my job isn't to be your friend. My job is to raise you. And I said, well, there's where I'm in trouble. And he started laughing. I said, well, that's all gone to hell, But the point is that, and he would say, okay. And then he'd say, look, if we become friends, that's a gift. And I can honestly say that the day my dad died, we were friends. And that was a great gift. And so what I want to say to all of you is when we look at family members and we look at these people that, that kill their wives. I mean, look at this Dulos. What was he cheating his children out of? What did he deprive those 5 children of? He deprived them of the mom who adored them, who was really there for them. He took from them. See, the thing that we're forgetting is that the stealing someone's ability to have that level of a friendship, just because you're not capable doesn't mean she isn't capable. And I think that's the horror that we all feel. If we really get into it and we really look at it that way, my mom died when I was 15 and my dad and I were like, we were really at odds at that time because he left my mom and left me with her. And he later, there was a lot of stuff that went under the bridge, but he later said I made mistakes. I said, yep, you think so? But anyway, I think when we look at something like this, what are those children going to be faced with now? Just because you couldn't have your way, what happens in a family like that is these children know that, we know that these kids are now faced with raising themselves and being deprived of that really special someday friendship. And, you know, if you have a special friendship like that, you go to the mat for it. You do. And, you know, there's so much I would have given up when my dad got sick. Hey, listen, you know, here's the thing. I am sorry too. I'm really sorry that that friendship is not in my immediate life. And I can't say, I don't know about you, but I can't say, oh, he'll always be with you. No, he's dead. Stop it. You know, like, you know that the person's gone. But here's what I want to say. We have to look at many angles of these situations. And as the mother, and I'm never going to blame the victim. You will not hear me blame the victim, because I don't believe that they knew it was coming. Okay. But I think on some level they did. And it goes back to what was said by Joseph. And I want to really underline this. If you see something impressing upon a friend and saying, listen, we're not talking about you now. I'm talking about your children. You know, what would happen if something happened to you? You've got to take care of you because you are in the line of fire. And, you know, I think that's the key. So what I want to say to you tonight, and I'm going to wrap up, but I am going to say that, you know, when we look at true crime, you will always hear me look at it from what is that intuitive side. And I would like to look at this a little further, just in terms of the women involved, not in a negative way, and not making Michelle bad, Traconis, or making Jennifer, you know, a victim, but looking at who were they when they came into this. Because one of the things I think can help all of us is when we look at that, this is, remember I said to you once, there's that special code that comes together of we are attracted to people that are certain ways, right? And to this day, I'm still attracted to men who are funny. You know, I think they're just charming because my father was that way. And, you know, I'll tell you something. Once in my life, a man hit me. Once. And I never talked to him again. I took all my stuff. I left. My dad said to me, yeah, I thought you two were close. I said, he hit me. He said, I'll kill him. I said, don't, you know, but, Tori, don't you ever feel your dad's presence. Okay. I'm going to talk about that. Hold on. Yeah, I agree with you, Tina. You know, growing up and not having the mother and all that, about my dad's presence. Yes. When I feel my dad, it's when I know that something difficult is coming up for me, or when I'm incredibly sad, or I feel like I'm doing something that he would go, don't you do that. Sorry. When he would look at me and go, you're not going to do that, are you? You're not. It's like if he would say, don't touch this, right? He'd go, don't touch that. And I go, don't. He'd go, don't, I'm telling you. He'd go, God, you know, like I miss him those moments when I push the envelope too far and I can laugh about something stupid I did and I'm going like this. And I remember once, and I will wrap up because you guys like Tori stories. I like them too. I remember once, I think I've shared this, but it's such a fun story. My father said to me one day, because my father had a habit of like, if there was an argument, he would leave the room. Like he would just disappear. Okay. So I said to him, you know, he'd stand up and he'd go, I'm done. I go, why? I'm speaking. You're done now? I can't say what I think? Oh, no, because this is just a big, and he would be yelling about it being a big argument. Well, it wasn't. And it wasn't until you stood up and started screaming about it. I don't want to put up with this. And I'm like, I'm just telling you, I don't want to get a real Christmas tree, right? That was my thing. And I said, it's a discussion, I don't want to go out and get one. It was like this thing, right? Because it's Christmas tree. Like we fought over anything Christmas. That was the worst time for both of us. Any other holiday, we were fine. It was just kind of funny. Anyway, so he stood up, I'm leaving the room and you're going to regret this. And I watch as he he was like, almost 80 and he just, before he died, and he gets to the first line, he's huffing because he had bad asthma, God bless him. And he looks at me and says, you're going to regret this moment. And I go, no, actually, I won't. I will laugh about it for the rest of my life because you look so silly and you're just puffing for no freaking reason. And he went, You're going to laugh? I go, yeah, I'm going to laugh. And he was like, you think this is funny? I go, I kind of do. You're like, damn it. So the thing is that we had that kind of relationship. We had that kind of friendship. And he said, well, what do you want me to do then? I go, sit your butt down and let's figure out what we want to do. And we came to an agreement, you know. He won and I won. He wanted a tree, so I got him a tree. What did I care, right? But I used the artificial after, and then I didn't have to after he passed away. But that's the thing, is that, you know, Jennifer, that's the brilliance of having that kind of friendship. And yeah, I really like my dad. He was a great guy. And, you know, I was blessed. And you know what? He was tough too, you know, meaning like, oh, really? You did that to, I mean, he scarred me. Don't get me wrong. I'd look at him and go, you know, that's going to scar me. Oh, great. So there was some scarring stuff. But I think the thing is that my father never killed my mother, even though he probably could have a couple times. And I look at crime now, and I understand that, you know, people are driven to certain things, but I really can't understand taking somebody's life, and particularly taking the life of a mother or father and taking them away from a family. I just can't get that. And I think that when we look at this particular story, you know something, he never loved her. And I think you can't, you know, it goes back to, I think he always loved himself, and I think she was his possession. And when you look at it that way, you know, when you look at it as some people think that you are their possession or you're an extension of them, they're going to praise you and be really nice all the time. And then when they're mean and putting you down, you're like, what? And then they're going to pull you back in. Now, some people call that narcissism. And everybody has a bit of it, right? Everybody's on that scale. But at the end of the day, a violent crime is a violent crime. And so we really have to look at, you know, all of the things that have happened to us, and put them together to create that intuitive picture that we have. Like, you all have an intuitive knowing, you know. And I just want to ask, don't you have that moment in your life when you went, I shouldn't have done that, but I'm lucky I survived? We all have that. And if you don't have it, you know, I said to somebody the other day, because she was saying to me, I really want to quit, you know, I want to quit this business. And she's been working on this business for a while. And I said, you know, I've always worked for myself, so I don't know any other way. But I said, I will tell you this, that if you don't want to quit something you love doing, then you are not doing it right, because it is not easy. My father used to say this life thing, it is not easy. And it isn't. It isn't easy to live. It isn't easy to get up every morning. It isn't easy for some people, and some people can't do it. So when I look at some POS, like this Dulos you know, to take someone's life when 5 children, you know, I just feel that kind of sadness about this in a very different way. And I really, you know, that grandmother is 82. She's not going to be here forever, you know, and they're with Jennifer's mom. So it's just, I just pray that they don't fall into his family's hands. And, you know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I would adopt them before they go into any kind of, you know, family system. Of course, nobody would give me children to take care of, but, you know, hey, I would offer. So there you go. What did Jenny say? I want to know what Jenny's good idea was. Oh, Jenny, you're not late. You're here. Let's see. I want to just check in. Yeah. And Jenny, always welcome, always welcome. Rudy, oh man, I have to go. Me too. Positive vibes. Good night to all. Good night, everybody. If you don't want to, someone just say, I'm waiting for my friend. Ooh, that's a good one. Just say, I'm waiting for my friend. I just say, I'm thinking about myself. You go on ahead. You know, there you go. But the most important thing is you follow your intuitive wisdom, because you have it and you don't need anybody else's permission to use it. I love you all more than you'll know. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. And I will be back talking about other bad crimes and no misdemeanors. So there you go. Have a blessed night, everyone. Thanks. Bye for now.